Welcome to Tansson TV Plus. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mom.
Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Yep, thank you for joining with us again.
We're in another month, and Mom, how are you doing today?
I am doing fine, Brandon. How are you doing?
All is well here.
That sounds great. Are you ready for another first episode Friday, Brandon?
I sure am.
All right. This is the month in which we're talking about TV shows from the 50s and 60s. And so, Brandon, we always just like introducing our audience to other shows that are out there. And so today, for this month, we're going to start with Hazel.
Yes, and so we're speaking about the very first episode that released, and that was on September the 28th of 1961, titled Hazel and the Playground.
Alrighty. So in this particular episode, Hazel wants to create a park for kids to play. And so in order to do that, she actually needs signatures on a petition. And that's basically the episode in a nutshell.
Mom, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Brandon.
And overall, what were your thoughts about this episode?
Actually, Brandon, we watched, to our audience knows, we watched this on a fluke. Of course, I've known about the TV show Hazel, have never really seen it. I mean, I've seen some things here and there, but never really sat down and watched a whole episode. And so I was pleasantly surprised. You and I sat down and did not move. So I was surprised that I liked it. What about you, Brand?
I was also surprised. Now, I've seen, various different, scenes at times, much, like years ago, but not anything recently. But again, us tuning into this episode, like, it was a shock that we enjoyed it and just coincidentally happened to be the first episode.
Yeah, we had to go back and see if it was the first episode because once we watched it, we said to ourselves, oh no, we need to go find the first episode now. And we were very lucky that it was the first episode.
Indeed, we were.
Yes, we were. And then just to give some overall thoughts about the series itself, just for those who have not heard of this episode, heard of this show, it's about a lady who is actually, I guess she's either the maid or housekeeper, and she is actually works for the Baxter family. At least initially, she works for the Baxter family, and so she cares for the family itself, and then she cares for their young son.
Yes, and even though we're not given any sort of initiating event, which we'll definitely speak about in a moment, but even though we're not given that, we do quite well with being able to adjust to the premise of the show pretty early on.
Yeah, we did. And you guys know that I do really like a nice initiating point. It was not needed on this show. You understood exactly what was happening. You may not have known the characters' names per se because they weren't as overt as we are now about saying characters' names, but you do know what is going on throughout the show.
Yes, we definitely do. And I will say that this was such a feel fun surprise being able to watch.
It was actually quite refreshing to watch. And I will say this first episode for me, even without seeing the other episodes, I thought it established quite a bit just by just kind of watching Hazel and what she's doing. And so just to go over some things that it kind of established with the show itself. We do know that Hazel is a maid or housekeeper. We know that she loves children. She does say this. We know that she's hands on with the kids that she works with. In this case, like I said, is a young man, but she's hands on with them. She is headstrong, very headstrong. She's headstrong with her employer. She's headstrong with politicians. She does. It doesn't matter. She's headstrong. We know that she has a little bit of. She's kind of into politics. For example, she didn't enjoy. She went and spoke with a local politician, and I can see that that's something that, in my thoughts, she might do again. You could tell she enjoys sports or she engages in sports. She seems to be involved in everything, and she's kind of a little bit of a daredevil. So these are some of the things that it seemed like we established from the first episode. Now, Brandon and I will watch future episodes and we'll let you know whether or not we agree with any of those later. But based upon the first episode, this is what it seems like it's about.
Yes. And I will say, too, that what I like about this is we're able to see such a, I feel, fun dynamic. And I know many of these older shows that we watch, especially sitcoms, they focus more on certain situations as opposed to anything really in depth in like by today's standards, but I will have to say this I think helped change my mind in terms of my mental thought about some of these older TV shows of black and white. What about you?
Yeah, it really was just very pleasant. Um, and like I said, I will watch it again.
Likewise, and so Mom, before we head into our well, actually, before we head into our theme song discussion, is there anything else that you want to mention?
Well, just the last thing. One of the things I did like about this episode is that it came full circle. I mean, it started with one idea. This idea was there. As we mentioned, that we talk about parks in this particular episode. That kind of came, I don't want to say came out of nowhere, but it did sort of seem like it came out of nowhere. But yet they were able to take the whole episode full circle to explain about the park and how it meant to one of the other characters in the story. So I thought they did a very nice job.
Yes, I definitely agree as well. And I believe the reason they said they brought into the whole park discussion was because the son Harold um, was throwing around the football and that he needed somewhere to be that was not in the front yard to potentially, I don't know, hit it into a chimney of the neighbor's house, hypothetically.
Yeah, yeah. Hypothetically, yes. All right, Brandon, you said you wanted to talk about possibly some of the connections.
Oh, yes. But before we do, did you want to speak about the theme song?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There was not a theme song per se for this particular show at the beginning, or at least in the first pilot episode we saw. Then we turned it on the second episode to see if a theme song kind of popped up because sometimes we know that happens. There was not a theme song. There was a little bit of an instrumental ballad, but at the end of the show, there was some wording that talked about Hazel as a character, and I thought that was really clever. So I did like that. Is it memorable? No, because I didn't remember the theme song. Like I said, Brandon and I have watched a lot of TV, and so I didn't remember the theme song itself, but there were some words at the end that kind of told you about her.
Yes, that's definitely true. And before we head into connections, I want to briefly mention that, Mom, I don't know if you know this, but the series Hazel is actually based off of a comic strip.
Oh, I had no idea.
So it seems that it was a part of a comic strip from the Saturday Evening Post. And so the strip started off in 1943 and then went to syndication in 69 and just ended in 2018.
Oh wow. I will have if it ended in 2018. I wonder. I probably have seen it and didn't quite realize it.
Yeah, I wasn't even familiar with it myself, and so it's quite interesting. And they did actually give the comic creator Ted Key. They did actually give him creator credit for the series.
Wow. Well, you have to show it to me offline later. I'd love to see what it looks like.
Yeah, we'll definitely will. And Mom, are you ready to head into the proper connections?
I am. Go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, so our big connection that we have here is with the actress that plays the wife, and that is Whitney Blake.
Yeah, and you told me who she was related to, which I found fascinating. Go ahead and tell the audience.
Yeah, so Whitney Blake, she is the mother of Meredith Baxter from the show Family Ties.
Yeah, that I found amazing.
So yes, and of course we spoke about Meredith Baxter in her own right. Of course, not just being, like I said, the mom on Family Ties, she reprised her role in that one of the episodes, Instant Mom, the Mother's Day episode we discussed when we first started this channel. So it's fun to sort of see that connection, but it's interesting because Whitney Blake has another connection in her own right.
Yeah, and this one surprised me too. Go ahead and let the audience know.
Yeah, so she is one of the co-creators of the show One Day at a Time.
Yeah, that's amazing. You said it was reflective a little bit of her life, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's based off of her life raising three children.
Wow. Wow. Well, and more so, you said a single mother, if I
Yes.
remember. Yeah. So that is very neat. Well, that is very good to know.
Yeah, it really is. And so she co-created the show with her later husband, Alan Manning.
Okay. That is very good to know. And then you mentioned something else about Hazel.
Yes, and so what's interesting is again, these connections build on each other. And so back in 2014, I believe, they actually made a play version of Hazel based off of both the comic strip and the TV show.
Well, and I had no idea about that one either. I really didn't.
Yes, and the play version, the director of it is Lucy Arnaz.
Of course it is. Of course it is. We just come full circle on all of our TV shows.
So yes, and so of course we all know who Lucy Arnaz is, of the Lucy Arnaz show that we spoke about, alongside the daughter of Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz.
Yes. Wow. Did you have any other connections or interesting points?
Yeah, so there's two people that are uncredited, I believe, within this first episode is people playing football.
Okay.
So
And who are these people?
yeah, so one of them is Ron DeFore, and so he is the real life son of the dad on the show.
Okay. Okay.
He had made a cameo appearance within this episode as one of the kids playing football.
Okay.
And Mom, do you want to know who the other person is?
Yep. Who's the other person?
The other person is Barry Van Dyke.
Oh, from Dick Van Dyke. Is that his son?
Yes.
Okay. Wow. That is very interesting.
So yeah, so it's interesting to see that that connection in there, and of course, we've spoken about Dick Van Dyke of the Dick Van Dyke Show, so it's fun to see his son there too. And who knew we had so many connections with this one episode?
I know. I know. That's fascinating. It really is. And Brandon, I did rate the episode. I like to rate the episodes 1 to 5, 5 being the highest. I give this one a 4 because it was just so pleasant and nice to watch.
And Mom, I wholeheartedly agree.
All right. Sounds good, Brandon. Anything else that you want to discuss about Hazel?
Well, not necessarily. I'm just glad that we were able to give the show a chance. I know we've seen it in our recommended, and we've seen it on TV from time to time. Like seeing that it's on TV. But I'm so glad that we actually sat down and watched it, even if it was originally unintentional.
Yep, I am too. I am too, Brandon. We'll have to do some more of these like this.
Yes, and Mom, can you also let us know what our theme is for this month?
Yep, this theme for this month is we are watching shows from the 50s and 60s, and we're going to talk about the first episodes.
Well, Mom, I look forward to us continuing with it.
Sounds good. All right, we thank everybody for watching today.
And we look forward to seeing you next time.
Have a great day, everybody.